Hey, what's up you guys? This is DJFriendZone, and a couple of you guys were asking what kind of gear I use for my events. So what I want to do in this video is kind of take you on a short walkthrough or the gear that I would use for kind of a small wedding. So I'll take you through my controller, the lighting, the speakers, and everything, and try to explain why. So check it out. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. So starting out behind the booth, of course, I have my two MacBooks. These are both M1 or Apple Silicon. This is actually an M3. This is an M1 MacBook. I like this so much, I bought another one. And the nice thing is just everything's all standardized. Everything's USB-C, everything uses the same 96-watt charger. You, of course, don't need to do this, but it's really helpful. Now, what I typically do is run Serato Pro on this laptop. And I use this laptop for controlling the mixer, controlling the mics. I'll also sometimes have the timeline for the wedding that I'm doing on here as well. So if I'm having a wedding, this is the export from Vibo, so I can just go through and basically read everything off, look at everything at the same time. And this will also be the laptop that I use to run dinner music on. This is, also a backup. I've never had to use it as a backup, but running dinner music through it, whereas this one is actually controlling the main audio. Now, the controller that I'm using is the Pioneer DDJ Rev 7. It's a great controller, and I have my dinner music controller plugged in to the auxiliary deck here, so I have control over this in the front. Now, I'm not actually using the mic inputs here. For that, what I'm going to be using, I have this custom rack. I'll probably make a separate video on what this build is, but it's an Audix R62 with a Mackie DL16S underneath, and everything's pre-wired. So I run my controller through it. I run the wireless mics and a wired mic for my own MCing through, which is just an SM58S. And this Audix R62 comes with these nice Audix full metal mics. These are the OM2 capsules, so they're pretty bright, and I like it because what I can do then is on master fader, which is controlling the mixer, is I can do any sort of EQ that I need to do. In fact, I don't actually need this because this is for my last setting, and I can do mic compression and adjust any levels if necessary. And one of the things I can do with this, which is really cool, if I'm running a separate speaker, which I'm not doing here, like for say a cocktail hour, I can run a speaker off an auxiliary and basically have more mic level. So if I'm using that as a delay speaker, I may not want as much audio as I would have in terms of the music, but I may want there to be more, say, mic for announcements. And that's, if it's used as a time delay speaker, or sending it a wireless, kind of shooting a wireless signal with the Sennheiser setup that I have. Up on top, I have lighting control. This is the ADJ WMX1, aka the Wolf Mix. Absolutely love this lighting controller. I'll probably make a separate review of this, but I have several of these actually. This one just came back from repair because it came back with a cracked screen, but very, very happy, been very, very happy with this. This replaced what I used to be using, which was the My DMX Go, which I actually had some problems with. This is just honestly a flawless lighting controller. Very, very happy with it. If you see here, my main outputs are run through XLR, but I have these combo cables. They're power and XLR, the kind of Siamese twin cables, and these are running to my mains. Now, this space is a little interesting. It's here half in a barn and half in this tent. It's a really small space. So I have one set of speakers in here and one set out there. Now, what I'm using for sound are BASSBOSS SSP118s, fantastic subs, absolutely incredible for their size and weight. And for the tops, we have the RCF TT10A. These I think are the Mark II or whatever the newest version is. And my goodness, these sound great, but the main thing is they're light, they're 25 pounds, and they are face-meltingly loud if I need them to be, which in this space, wouldn't need them to be. Connecting them from the sub, I'm running actually daisy-chaining the power, so I have these combo PowerCon and XLR cables that I had custom made from NLFX Pro. So I only need 4 cables to wire up both speakers and both tops. I have basically this cable, which is going to run, well, this is the one to the tops, but this cable, if you see, this is PowerCon blue and XLR male going into the speaker, and then I have these jumpers which will come PowerCon and audio out. So just one, just less cables, really, really easy at the end of the night, when you're really lazy and tired to wrap everything up. And I have the same set of speakers over on that side as well. That one right now is pointing that way, but they want the dance floor to be here. So what we'll do is we'll kind of turn these tops inwards. These poles that I'm using, these are the K&M 21633, I believe. They have these height adjustable pieces, but the main thing is they have this ring lock, so it actually locks the speaker in, so you can't really move it as much, which just keeps it from rattling out. Now, this does use the standard 1 3/8 inch pole cup. This is not the 35mm screw like a lot of the other subs you'll see, like the SRX 818SP, the KS118 from QSC, or the JBL VRX 918. This actually uses these, so you need the ring lock on both sides, and these are just kind of the taller ones. But those are the K&M poles, and then gravity clips to basically keep the cable behind the speaker so it's not in the way. We're using that for cable management. Moving on to the lighting, what I have here, this is the JMAZ Versa Flex bar. It has 2 moving heads, and it has a bunch of stuff here. It has warm strobes, these kind of colored strobes, and then these LED bars, which I'm of course controlling with the WMX1. Now you're kind of seeing it flicker here, but I can do all sorts of chases and things. And I prefer this to something like a gig bar for weddings, because in weddings, what's going on here is you may have a photographer and you don't want things that are going to be projecting dots that the photographer is going to have to edit out. So this doesn't have anything that would shoot dots or lasers or any of the sort of derbies, even though those things do look cool. I do have a gig bar that I often rent out or sometimes use for other events, but for weddings, I prefer this. Gotten actually a lot of compliments on this. It took a while to do all the programming and chasing. Maybe I'll, put something on that you can kind of see a little bit. I can do all these different chases left and right, and gobos with the moving heads. And I try to keep the moving heads down a little bit so they're not in people's faces. And of course, these are the and then down here we have the K&M stands. These are the ones that have the legs along with this kind of top tubular part. I like these because then I don't need to use a scrim. They are a little heavier, but these are really nice. Yeah, and you see that on that side, that's my vehicle. It's a Ford Transit Connect. I have a ramp installed in the back so I can just basically load everything out. But yeah, this is pretty much most of the gear I would use for a small wedding reception. I'll do a separate video on the stuff I would use for the wedding ceremony. Overall, this is probably about, excluding the computers, maybe $15,000 to $20,000 worth of gear if you include, say, about $2 grand for the Rev 7, SSP118s. These, maybe $7 or $8 grand for the pair. RCF TT10As, that's about $4 grand for the pair. So, you start adding it up. This is the ADJ Pro Event Table 2 with the Scrim. Right now, this air conditioning unit is kind of blowing it, but we'll kind of knock that down a little bit. And of course, what I have, anti-fatigue mat. This is from Costco, and this is a Lasco fan. This is an air blower to keep me cool because it actually is getting kind of humid and hot here. We're here in Houston, Texas. So as you can see, this is pretty much a standard kind of small wedding setup. In fact, something like this easily cover up to maybe 200, 250 people. A lot of it sometimes, depends on the size of the space and things. Before I'd be moving up to, say, larger subs and larger tops, something like a JBL VRX 932 LAP where I can stack 2 per side, or something bigger. I have Fulcrum FA22 AC, so cool. Anyway, that is most of the gear I'd use for something like a wedding reception. Like I said, I'll make a separate video for the ceremony, but feel free to let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try in the video description to detail all the gear and maybe provide some links where you can get it. And once again, if you're looking to buy things like expensive pro grade subs and tops, be sure you go through a dealer. For a lot of these, you don't really want to be paying MSRP. You want to be talking to a dealer who, depending on what you buy and how much of it, can hopefully get you a better rate than what's listed. But that's for, pro level speakers and things. You don't really want to pay list price. But for a lot of the other stuff, you'll just, buy it online through like Amazon or Sweetwater. But for the really expensive stuff, once again, go through a dealer. That's my advice to you. And I have a couple names I can give to you guys if you're interested. But once again, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.